Let it be known. Good morning, everyone. Once again, I'm Dr. Benjamin F. Chavis, Jr., President and CEO of the National Newspaper Publishers Association. We represent 230 African American owned newspapers and media companies across America. We are the trusted voice of the Black community. Carla Richards is our distinguished chair, and we're pleased to be on this edition of Let It Be Known. Stacey Brown, our host, is having a little technical difficulties, so I'm stepping in with him. And there he is right there, Stacey.
Lots of technical difficulties, Dr. Chavis. We apologize for the delay.
That's okay. Right.
But this morning, Dr. Chavis, we're going to welcome Karla David-Luster. She has her own fashion line and leads a think tank for small businesses and to network and to collaborate, for all of them to network and collaborate. She also has been a force in the corporate world for companies such as Mrs. Fields, Burger King, and McDonald's. This innovative woman who's a mother, she also instilled with her in a young age that taking the path towards having one's own solid business is the way to go. So we're going to talk to Karla David-Luster this morning. And Dr. Davis, there's a lot of news this morning, and we'll get to the headlines. Yesterday, lots happening on Capitol Hill. The Senate passed one of President Joe Biden's most ambitious pieces of legislation, a $1.2 trillion bipartisan infrastructure package. The bill, which now must pass the House, counts as the largest federal investment in America's public works system in more than 10 years. The bill encompasses each part of the American economy and should strengthen the United States global warming response. So lots going on, Dr. Chavis. They also presented, and the Senate also passed the $3.5 trillion budget blueprint. There's a long way to go, but that budget blueprint, Dr. Chavis, has so many great things. It expands Medicaid and Medicare. In fact, it potentially reduces the retirement age to 60 years old. It also gives free college tuition to those in school for 2 years, up to 2 years, I should say. Also expands universal pre-K and kindergarten, and has a lot of things in there, Dr. Chavis, that where the prescription medication costs will be reduced drastically, healthcare costs will be reduced drastically. So much in that bill. Of course, the Republicans are in staunch opposition to it. But the good news is that they are doing it in a way in which it'll go through the reconciliation process, which would prohibit the Republicans from blocking it. So they need all Democrats on board.
Yes. Well, first, let's talk about the tremendous victory that the Biden-Harris administration won yesterday. And I have to say that President Biden has proven everybody else wrong. No one thought that there could be a bipartisan agreement between Republicans and Democrats on the $1.2 trillion infrastructure bill. It happened. 19 Republicans joined with the Democrats yesterday to pass the Senate bill. So this is historic. And that lays the basis now, Stacey, for the reconciliation of the over $3 trillion reconciliation. The point for Black America, the $1.2 trillion that's passed, and I'm sure the House is going to pass it, lays broadband access. You know, in Black America, there are a lot of parts of our community that don't have broadband. This is going to take care of that. This is going to also provide African American owned businesses. When these roads are built, when these bridges are built, when the high-speed rail is built, it's going to be not only jobs, but business opportunities for Black-owned businesses. Entrepreneurs are going to benefit from the infrastructure bill. And of course, you know, we represent Black-owned businesses, Stacey, in the publishing industry, and there will be advertising dollars around these infrastructure initiatives. And so I think this is overall, it's going to be a plus for the economy, and more importantly, for Black America, it's going to be a plus for economic development opportunities of our communities. So, and once again, President Biden and Vice President Harris should be saluted for pulling off a bipartisan victory.
Yeah, and you're right, Dr. Chavis. One of the goals of this administration has been to make sure that they have a true impact on communities of color, and this is what those bills are doing. They have done the American Rescue Plan, of course, and others. We know the child tax credit is a monthly $500 average check that families are getting now because of the American Rescue Plan. So a lot's going on there. And Dr. Chavis, here's a feel-good story for you. While growing up, Ty recalled the life-altering event of watching U.S. Marshal deputies serving a warrant in her neighborhood. One of the deputies stood out for Ty. Why? Because that deputy was a Black female. Ty, who is a Black female deputy, the FBI only gives her first name. She approached and questioned the officer at that time, who provided that stunned young woman with her business card so that they can remain in contact. Well, now at 32 years old, Ty is an FBI special agent who typically investigates public corruption, but now she is the first Black woman to train for an FBI SWAT team. She is in Puerto Rico now, Dr. Chavis, and she is in a 10-week training program. And if she passes that training program, she will become the first Black woman FBI SWAT member.
Well, congratulations to her. It just shows you that Black women and other women of color are getting all facets of what America's future will be. And certainly we need more African-American women, African-American men, other people of color in law enforcement, particularly in federal law enforcement. So this is another plus. We congratulate her.
Yeah, absolutely. And Dr. Chavis, the NFL and its legends, Maurice Jones-Drew and Steve Smith Sr., alongside current Miami Dolphins running back Patrick Lard, teamed up for an important public service announcement to promote the FCC's emergency broadband benefit, which ties to the NFL's Inspired Change work to help close the digital divide. The emergency broadband benefit will provide a discount of up to $50 per month towards broadband service for eligible households and up to $75 per month for households on qualifying tribal lands. Eligible households also can receive a one-time discount of up to $100 to purchase a laptop, desktop, or tablet from participating providers if they contribute more than $10 and less than $50 toward the purchase price. I believe we do have that PSA announcement. It's a 30-second announcement, so let's go to it.
COVID-19 continues to pose challenges for many families.
As part of the NFL's effort to close the digital divide, a divide widened by the pandemic, we want you to know about the FCC's emergency broadband benefit.
Through this temporary program, the cost of internet service and a computer or a tablet can be lowered for eligible low-income families.
For more information, visit the website or call the phone number on your screen.
Please don't wait.
Yeah, so it's a wonderful thing that that the NFL and some of its legendary players are doing here, helping folks with broadband internet access and laptop and computers.
Absolutely. And again, the passage of the infrastructure bill is also going to complement that and expand that and make broadband access available to all Americans, but particularly to people of color.
Yeah, absolutely. And Dr. Chavis, also one other quick note, in the world of golf, Willie Mack III, what a story he is. So yesterday he won the APGA MasterCard tournament, in which placed him on the leader among the leaders. If I believe he is the leader now in points this year. And here's a story with Willie Mack III. He's a young African-American man who slept in his car so he could avoid paying other bills, so he can further promote his golf career and help his golf career. And it has paid off big time. So congratulations to Willie Mack III. And of course, the National Newspaper Publishers Association and the PGA Tour and the PGA of America have recently entered into an MOU to bring the more golf information and the sport to Black America.
That is a good story. But again, we congratulate our dear brother Mac for his golfing achievement. That just shows, Stacy, that across the board, African Americans are making progress in sports and entertainment, in science and math, in engineering, in all aspects, in law enforcement, as you commented earlier. So we congratulate him, and we're grateful for the relationship now we have with the PGA Tour and the PGA America.
Yeah, Dr. Davis, of course, we want to say good morning to those watching on Facebook and Twitter and YouTube and all the platforms that they choose to watch us this morning. We welcome you all to Let It Be Known. And we want to welcome our special guest this morning. She's an entrepreneur. She is Karla David-Luster. Good morning, Karla.
Good morning, Stacy, and good morning, Dr. Chavis. Thank you for having me.
Good morning, Sister Carla, and thank you for, again, joining the Black Press of America. And you really scoring a lot of points. You're opening up businesses. I think you have a book that's just coming out.
Yes, I do. It's called The Woman Tells.
Well, the woman is going to tell on us because it's been a rough morning, Karla David-Luster. But we welcome you. Tell us about that book.
Thank you. The Woman Tells is a novel it's a romance novel. It is fiction. It's about a couple that struggle, and we all know about different struggles within relationships. It's a couple in a relationship that struggle. They go through these different situations and circumstances, and they both decide to make a decision to bring someone else, within the relationship. The husband actually brings in a mistress, and the wife decides to bring in a paramour, which is a French term for a male mistress. And the book just goes through all of the struggles that they have, the different scenarios that they're going through with, arguing and various things. But it comes full circle back around to just talk about how each individual that's in a relationship actually has the responsibility and accountability to whatever the outcome of the relationship turns out to be it that they work things out, be it that they divorce, or whatever the situation is. Everyone in a situation has a responsibility and accountability, and you are responsible for what you bring to the table.
And that's a great point there. You are responsible for what you bring to the table, but you have been responsible for so much, as Dr. Chavis alluded to, businesses. Tell us about how it all started for you. You are an exceptional entrepreneur. Tell us about your businesses.
Thank you very much. I originally started off in corporate, as you mentioned. I've worked for various QSR industry corporations, being McDonald's was my first start. I was there about 12 years and got my start there. I ran several of their high profile restaurants in the Oak Brook area, where the CEO and all of the main characters and the players are. I also, I was there 12 years. I got recruited to go over to Mrs. Fields for a special project with the vice president, and I took over like 8 states. I had a large territory. That was a very good opportunity for me, and through that, the original person that hired me into Mrs. Fields was hired to go help Burger King as a vice president, and took over a large department, whereas she invited me to come over to Burger King as one of her people. So I left Mrs. Fields and went there. In the Burger King Corporation, I was called a director of operations, where we were challenged with my team to go into various franchise restaurants to help them look at their business, their total business, and to help them come up with an action plan that could help them, put more money, into their pockets, their return on investment. So that was something that was very, very challenging. However, it was very fulfilling because I was able to put myself in a position to help someone. Through that, I said, if I can do this for someone else, possibly, and I've always had the entrepreneurial bug, I said I can do it for myself. So I just, came up with an action plan on when my exit strategy would be. I did that. I had several people looking at me in various QSR industries to become investors for me. I chose to go a different route. I chose to do the UPS. When I was looking for what I was going to do as an entrepreneur, I wanted to make sure that I didn't leave out the fact that I had a family and I was a wife. So I wanted to make sure that I could balance everything. that helped me to choose UPS because although it is a lot of work, you do have you have time to have that family life. So that was very important to me as well. So that was one of my entities. Shall I keep going? Or
well, tell me this though, and this is fantastic. You're a busy woman, but you lead a think tank for small business owners to network and collaborate. Tell us about this think tank.
Thank you so much, Stacy. The think tank it came about through my UPS store. I have mailbox holders. Obviously, you guys know that I do, the UPS system does mailboxes. I had, at that point, over 150 to 200 mailbox holders, which probably a large portion, about 70-75%, are entrepreneurs and business people that are doing their own thing. They're working. A lot of them are working out of their homes, but they use the mailbox for their address. With that being said, because they're so loyal and they were there with me, I wanted to give a party to just say thank you. It turned into a big party, but it was just going to be something small, a meet and greet, so everyone can meet each other, exchange information, and learn what each other's do. How can we help each other provide, services? And it turned into, one herd, and it just kind of spread. It went beyond my mailbox holders to other entrepreneurs wanting to come. So the party was very successful. Through that, I got a lot of them saying you should keep this going on a yearly basis because it was very beneficial. A lot of entrepreneurs got business out of it. They got contacts and, they built their resource bases. So it became really, really great. From there, I got people to sponsor me to actually give away several scholarships to individuals that are in college, and we didn't limit it to the undergrad. We wanted to help people that were working on their master's and PhD as well, because just because you've graduated with your first degree doesn't mean that you don't struggle to get the next one. So I wanted to just open it up and whomever was interested could do it. And we did that for 2 years. We plan to try to do it again this year. So it came about through a party. That's all I can say.
Well, Dr. Chavis, she has a whole lot going on.
Well, thank you, Sister Carla. We need some good news to come out of Chicago. The world is watching some of the tragic situation in Chicago with gun violence. But we're very proud that we have outstanding newspapers in Chicago: Chicago Citizen, the Times Weekly, Chicago Crusader, Chicago Defender, and other news services in the greater Chicago area. Can you talk about how businesses are doing, particularly Black-owned businesses, Carla, in light of the pandemic, in light of all the issues that are going on in Chicago? Are we making progress?
I feel that we are definitely making progress. Chicago is one of those places where you have this big network of people. If you don't know someone that knows someone, and we try to definitely make sure that we are frequenting and going to the Black businesses to keep them in business. We try to patronize each other. And I think that is the great thing that's helping us to get through this pandemic and helping us to stay abroad. I have many people that come through the store. I take their information and I try to hold it where, if someone needs an accountant, I can pass along a business card of an African American that's in the accounting business. So it's just a matter of paying it forward. And I think that Chicago, although I would say years past, I'm not sure how strong it was, but I got to say that nowadays we're coming together, despite the violence here, despite all of the things that people see on the news. There are very, very good people here in Chicago, and there is a very strong network for entrepreneurs, and we're trying to just work the circle and just keep each other in business. So I say that I think that we've worked through a few kinks. We have some ways to go, but I think that we have started.
Exactly. I remember, Chicago used to be the hub. It used to be the mecca of Black-owned businesses back in the day. And I'm hoping that will return because at the end of the day, the economy, the economic wealth building enterprises that we can establish, that has a permanent long-term effect on the quality of life of our communities.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
There's a saying here. I'm sorry. There's a saying here saying, "Keep the dollar in the hood." That's what And so there, it's kind of like a running joke, but you're hearing, keep the dollar in the hood, like, okay.
And Carla, it's likely that one of our viewers, especially one of our women viewers, might be watching and thinking about taking the steps to start their own business. What advice would you offer to them based upon your own experience?
Based upon my own experience, first and foremost, just make sure it's just not think of something that you're very passionate about, that you love to do, regardless of the pay. I mean, of course, obviously we want to, make the dollars or whatever else, but you got to love what you do. You got to have that passion. Definitely you have to, you got to be organized. You got to have an action plan. You've got to work that plan. You've got to, try to see how you're going to finance it, coming out the gate or whatever. Hopefully it takes off and it can finance itself. But ground zero, you have to make sure that all of your ducks are in a row. But organization, dedication, passion, those things are, to me, are some of the things that you have to have going in.
Yeah, I want to briefly go back to your book, because one of our viewers, Michelle Madison, says, is your book similar to the show Sister Wives? This concept is very interesting to me. My associate and I were talking about it the other day. Not for us, LOL. Thank you. She wants to know, is it similar?
I don't want to say that it's totally like that, because what I do in my book is I give each character the opportunity to tell their own side of the story. In the book, you've got like 4 different characters telling their sides of the stories, how they derived at the point, and how they came to the point of they made those type of decisions. So it's a little bit different, although that it has some similar parts. It's a little bit different, and I don't name any. It doesn't have any names, and as you're reading, you don't really notice it. A lot of people say they never noticed it until I said it. They saw me on a podcast and I said it. There were no names in the book, and they're like, you know what? There weren't. So I don't name names, and each character tells their own side of the story.
Wow. And you also, Dr. Chavis, you talked about her being such a entrepreneur, which she is, but she also has a fashion line. Tell us about that.
Oh my goodness. The fashion line actually did start during the COVID period in 2020. This is something that I do with my children. It was, we started a website that we sold consignment and retail things along with my line, which is called the KKZT Collection. And I'm in partnership with my 2 children, Aaron and Keaton Davis. However, we come to the terms that we're going to be phasing out the consignment and the retail, and we're going to just strictly do our line, which is the KKZT Collection. And it started during the pandemic.
Wow. And how does one purchase something from your collection?
Thank you. They can purchase it at my website, which is called shopcarlascloset.com. You can just go there, www.shopcarlascloset.com, and it's all of the things are on there. You can just purchase some things. We still have a few consignment things left on there because we're kind of phasing that out, but my line is definitely there, the KKZT Collection. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. We appreciate it. Dr. Chavis, it looks like we're going to have to check out what's in Carla's closet.
Oh, absolutely. Carla, most of our newspapers are family-owned businesses, and I noticed that you've involved your family in some of your business enterprises. Tell us the importance of family, as well as being an entrepreneur, involving one's family in your work.
Yes. I think that it's very important to continue a legacy, and with me, I'm working in conjunction with my children. I wanted to give them the opportunity to learn, they're both in school, and they've both graduated from undergrad. One is actually going on for her master's, but I wanted to give them, a good start, business base, to work with me, see what I do, and to, let them know we're building this together. This is something that, you can keep going. So, you can do this, I know that they have other, interests and stuff like that, but this is something that I thought that was very important that we do together. That is something that the family have built to carry on the legacy. So it's very important, I think, that you do things with your family.
Very good.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we certainly appreciate all of this great information. I see many of our viewers are expressing the same thing, that they, Gregory Muhammad, for instance, says, thank you for this valuable information. Earlier when you were giving out the advice, we asked you what advice you'd give to young people. David Youngblood, he loves that advice. He says it was wonderful advice. And Bobby, he's saluting your hometown in Chicago. He says Bobby Henry, our publisher down in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, the West Side Gazette. He says, partying with a purpose. Just left Chicago. He visited Emmett Till's home and found all the wonderful things that are going on there. And you alluded to that earlier, Carla. Can you just briefly, I know we're running out of time, but talk about a little bit more briefly about the positive things that are going on in Chicago.
The positive things we have, I just want to say, we call them millennials, Gen Z, or whatever. I just think that they've just gone gangbusters on the entrepreneurship, just coming up with things that they can do. It was really funny. And I'll just speak on my daughter. I didn't even know this. I was here and I was like, you know what, I'm going to make myself my own lotion because some of the things that I buy don't have the ingredients. And so I'm here mixing up or whatever else. She comes over and to my surprise, she brings over a body butter that she's like, developed. And she's like, I'm going to be doing this too. I say that to say that, and I speak to so many young people, they're just coming up with just some great ideas, things, thinking outside of the box. They're, and they're like interacting with each other, exchanging information, just trying to do, I feel like something that, it wasn't extremely strong before, but it is very strong now. That I just think that they have in Chicago, and I'm sure it's happening other places. You just have a lot of the younger people and the millennials just developing all these different business tactics that I'm just so amazed. And I know this because they come through the store to ship things that they've sold. I'm like, wow, where did you get that from? So it's amazing.
Yeah. We talk about it. I know Dr. Chavis always talks to the staff of NMPA about the valuable young ones, especially in our community. Dr. Chavis, on that note, I'll give you your closing thoughts with Karla David-Luster.
Well, again, we salute Karla David-Luster for her success, not only being a trailblazer as an entrepreneur and all the various Fortune 500 companies you work for, but now you're building your own Fortune 500 companies. So I'll say Rihanna better look out because Karla David-Luster is on the way.
I appreciate that so much. I have to work a little harder.
Just a little harder, right?
A little harder. But I appreciate the confidence that you've given me. And thank you both for inviting me to this amazing show. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you. That's what we do in the Black Press. We want to lift our people up, because in turn, you help lift up our community.
Thank you.
Yeah, and $1.7 billion. So, Karla David-Luster, I know you're getting close to that Rihanna figure, right?
I'm not going to tell another story.
Thanks again. Tomorrow, don't forget, right here on Let It Be Known, we have another entrepreneur. Will Roundtree will join us. Dr. Chavis, you can watch our fantastic president of the National Newspaper Publishers Association every Sunday on PBS TV and PBS World. The show is called The Chavis Chronicles. He's hosted by that man right there. Let it be known, here's one to think about. Well done is better than well said. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow.